Hey everybody, welcome to HomeRecordingMadeEasy.com, VisionRecordingStudios.com, and here on my YouTube channel. And yes, today is the big day. Finally, via UPS, the Slate Raven MTI has arrived, and I've been posting it on my Facebook page now for a couple of weeks, and people have been asking me when it comes in, could I do an unboxing, could I do some setup videos, and I'm going to do that because there's not a lot of user videos on YouTube with using the MTI. There's a few. Most of the guys use Pro Tools, and Slate Digital or Slate Pro Audio themselves have put out some cool tutorial videos, and that's all really cool. And there are a couple of users that have shown some stuff via Pro Tools, and even a couple with Logic. Those are the only two supported DAWs as of the recording of this video, which is the September 2015. But I hear that Cubase Studio One and a couple of other DAWs are coming very soon. So I wanted to get my grubby hands on this and start getting used to it. Maybe use it with Logic Pro X for a bit before Studio One becomes available, because that is my DAW of choice. But anyway, I've never done an unboxing video before. This is my first, so if you hate it, I apologize. I'm going to try to be as thorough as I can. It's not going to be a real high production quality video. But so anyway, here is the box that comes in from UPS, the nice Raven graphic on the outside. And as you can notice on the top here, you can see, I can zoom in a little bit, that it's already kind of semi-open. The seal has been broken. That was not done by me. That was the way it arrived via UPS. They had a couple of staples in the top of the box, and one of the staples and the tape in the center has been removed or damaged. It looks like it's just been damaged because of the way maybe the UPS carrier, the guy delivering it maybe may have handled the box, but it doesn't look like it's open. So hopefully we don't have any damage. I was kind of hoping this would come in an outer box. So this is the only box it comes in, but we will see how it's packaged on the inside, and I'll give you guys a look-see of that. And then you guys can kind of check this out. So let me move the camera over here, and I'm going to try to get in the frame. I'm going to try to unbox this and see how well we can do as far as an unboxing video. So here we go. Okay, here we go. So we're going to do an unboxing of this Slate Raven and see how it's packaged on the inside and give you guys kind of a look-see. Hopefully the lighting in here is good enough and it's not too dark. So again, the seal was broken here at the top, and one of the staples was already out of the box. It looks like there are 3 staples in the top of the box is what's hold it closed, with a little bit of packing tape, which is really not doing the job, at least on this one. So let's cut this open and let's see what we have here. Okay, so on the inside, it looks like it's pretty simple here. So we got a box of probably power supply and some goodies. We'll take a look at that in a minute. And then we also have now, let's see, down in here, it looks like there's another package, but let's pull out the Raven itself. And let's see what we have here. So for now, I'll put this box down here. Okay, so the Raven is packaged in a plastic bag with some big foam inserts on either side of it. That's the only protection it really has. It doesn't look like it has much else inside of the box. It would have been nice to kind of have some more foam padding on the front of the screen especially, although these foam bumpers would work. But again, the box is kind of partially open, so I guess, I don't know, I probably would think something of this, being this fragile, you'd want a little bit better packaging, but it doesn't look to be damaged in any way. So let's take an open here and just rip the plastic and see what we're dealing with. So if I were to pull off this foam block here and kind of slide it out of its plastic bag, stand it up on its end, a little bit of paper to protect the side. Looks to be in good shape, doesn't look to be damaged in any way, which is great, thankfully. So set that down. So without its stand, here is, put this in here, and there's another box here which has the actual stand in it. Grab that. Okay, so the stand is in here, and it looks like some power connectors or cables are in here. 27-inch screen, obviously. If you've looked at the website, I gotta tell you, it's pretty hefty. It's made out of a steel casing. It's not plastic by any means. It feels like it's a real, you know, heavy-duty piece of equipment, which is nice. If you take a look, again at the top, there's a power button and some menu selector buttons up here. And then around the back, there's a DVI connector and a USB cable and a power connector, which I'll do all close-ups and shoot this thing up close so you can kind of see it. But there's kind of the unboxing of it before I put the stand on. So let's take a look and see what's in here. So it looks like you get some kind of a wiping cloth for the screen that says Raven on it. Pretty nice. Okay. We have this spray for to clean the glass, which is kind of cool. We'll have to see how we're supposed to restores the slickness. Okay, so it somehow makes the glass nice and slick and easy to use. So that's what that is. And we have a DVI cable. As well as a power cord. The other end of the power connector. Some screws probably for the stand. And an installation on how to wire and an index card on how to kind of install the stand and kind of adjust it, and a little postcard on the front here. So that's in this box. And then over here, we have the stand itself, it looks like. Get rid of that box. So metal stand, not plastic, which I guess you would expect from Slate. Rubber feet on the bottom to protect it on your desk. And apparently you can adjust the angle in which this kind of sits. This kind of a tilting angle, which we'll get into when we install the stand. So let me, again, kind of give you kind of a close-up here. I'll go in back of the camera and kind of do a little bit of a zoom in so you can kind of see what we're looking at here. So there it is, a 27-inch Raven MTI. Again, the screen, you know, it always looks bigger on their website than it does when you get it in person, but it is a 27-inch widescreen for sure. And there's the stand, metal stand, all the cables. Again, looks to be very well constructed, made all out of metal. Really cool. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pause the video here. I'm going to install the stand on it and kind of get it set up on this side table to my workstation, because I don't think it's going to fit on my current workstation, which if you saw the beginning of this video or the other video that I published, we're talking about changing out my workstation to a brand new Argosy desk, which is going to be a lot more conducive to using this Raven. This Raven's not really going to fit well here. So the Argosy desk is not coming in for a couple of weeks. It's going to be shipped, I think, in about 8 business days. So I won't see it for about 14 business days. And then I got to install it, put it together, tear down this workstation, install the new one, and then install the Raven on it. But have no fear, we're going to go ahead and we're going to boot up this Raven, even if it's on this little side cart table next to my console area, and we will get this thing rocking and rolling. So I'll be right back, and then I'll take the camera off the tripod here and I'll show you the connectors, show you how the stand is installed, and then we will start and continue the setup of the MTI Raven. So we'll be right back. Okay, installing the stand was quite easy. Just using the provided instructions they give you on this postcard. There is a black metal stand, hopefully you can see that well, and there's 4 screws that mount into the body. So the first thing I did is took a nice big moving blanket, laid it on the table, flipped the Raven over face down to protect the screen, and then from there just installing the 4 screws. And again, it's a black surface, so you can see there's 4 screws there. And on the screw to the top of the frame, at the top of the picture frame here, can't zoom any further, there's a little indicator on the metal bracket itself for the stand, like an arrow. And when the screw is lined up with the arrow, the viewing angle is about 40 degrees according to the manual. So you can't see it on the bracket itself, but that's what it indicates in the instructions. So that's pretty much all you do. You just kind of put the 4 screws in and the stand is installed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it over now and just show you the connectors before I hook it up to the computer, so you can see where the connectors kind of reside here. Okay, so now by flipping the Raven over, turning it around, we can zoom in here on the connectors. Again, this is a pretty simple thing to hook up. It's nothing more complicated really than hooking up your regular old computer monitor. So we have a USB cable here to the right. That's going to go to the computer, obviously, and then we have a DVI connector, which they provide you a 6-foot, or it looks to be a 3 or 4 foot DVI male to DVI male cable. Comes with your Raven. But if you don't have those connectors on your computer, you're going to have to get an adapter or a different type of cable. I have a 2013 Mac Pro, the new Mac Pro, which only has HDMI. So I ordered a cable from Amazon to go from the DVI to HDMI, waiting for that to arrive. But I have a spare one that I used when I hooked up my Apple 30-inch cinema display as my main screen. So I'm just going to swap that out for the Raven for now, just so we can hook this thing up. And then there's a power connector here as well. And then you can see down under here, here's a power button and probably some menu settings, buttons and screens you can go into to probably set brightness and color and so on and so forth. Again, and this is just a monitor. I think some people have the misconception like the Raven is actually a computer, but it's not. It's just a touchscreen monitor. So there's really no computering electronics in it. That's all done through your computer. So anyway, I'm going to flip this right side up, hook up the DVI and the USB, and then we're going to turn this thing on for the first time and see what it's doing. And we'll get right down to it. So I will be right back and we will try to boot up this Raven. Okay, so now I got the Raven all hooked up, plugged in the DVI cable to HDMI on my Mac Pro, which I ordered a cable from Amazon because the Raven comes with a DVI to DVI cable. New Mac Pro doesn't have that kind of connector, so I bought a cable for like 17 bucks, plugged it on in, plugged in the supplied USB cable that came with the Raven, which is about 6 or 7 feet long, and the power cable, and now we're going to boot it up for the first time. As you can see, I again have it on this side table to my workstation just because it's not going to fit based on what I said earlier in the video. I'm getting a new workstation. So anyway, let's boot this up for the first time and let's see what it looks like. So again, very well built, very heavy duty. I mean, the stand is at a perfect, what looks to be about a 45-degree angle based on the instruction booklet. And again, you can adjust the screws in the back to get this more of a tilt action. And it even has rubber feet on the back of the monitor itself if you wanted to take the stand off and lay it flat, or if you had it installed in a custom desk or something like that. So a bunch of different mounting options, but at least it appears at first look 45 degrees per their recommendation. Looks like it's probably going to be a pretty good angle for me. So anyway, let's just turn this on. There's a power button here in the top right hand corner. Just going to press that on and see what we get. Okay, great. So it's booted up now, as you could probably see. I'll zoom in on this afterwards and give you guys a look at it. It looks like it defaults to the main monitor because I have a 30-inch display, Apple Cinema display behind me. It looks like the Raven automatically defaults to the main screen. I can see my dock is here on the bottom, but if you hook yours up and it's not the main screen and you want it to be the main screen, the only thing you would have to do is just go into, if you're on a Mac, you would just go into your setup here, your setup preferences. I got to say the screen looks pretty good too. Really nice resolution. And then go into your displays and arrangements, and you'll have a little white bar at the top of one of the, it'll show the two monitor screens. You just slide the white bar over it and you can see when you click on it, there's a red box that illuminates around your main screen. And if you move it over, right, it'll turn this into the secondary screen. So the way to rearrange that is to go back to the main screen, which I will do. And now the Raven is the main primary monitor. So that's how you switch it on a Mac. I'm sure if you own a Mac, you already know that. But my first thoughts are, when seeing this for the first time, is, and originally I gotta say, when you look at it online, it looks a little bit bigger. I know it's only a 27-inch screen. I'm used to working on a 30-inch cinema display, which you can see over my shoulder behind me. And I thought, geez, is this gonna be a little too small? I know you can get the MTX, which is the 46-inch monitor, or the 46-inch console. That comes with a big desk and has a whole audio section and a monitoring section in it, which is way overkill for what I need. Not to mention that at the price of, or at the recording of this video, is about a $10,000 investment. This was a $1,500 investment. So I opted for the smaller screen, but I thought, geez, is the screen gonna be too small? But I gotta say, just in the few seconds since I turned this on, and the first time I turned this on is when I was recording, I didn't do this prior. When you're sitting this close to it at this kind of an angle, it seems like it feels a lot bigger than you would probably think. 27-inch monitor seems a little small. You wonder if you're gonna have enough real estate. I don't know yet because I'm not working in the DAW act, obviously. But just by looking at it, by sitting this close to it, I gotta say, I think that's gonna be a really nice work surface. I don't feel like now it's too small. In the imagery on it, at least my icons on my desktop and such, really nice resolution. I don't see any dead spots or anything with the monitor. Obviously, it doesn't work as a touchscreen yet because I gotta calibrate it. And if you look at the index card that they give you, it has your original passcode, which I believe will work with Pro Tools. And then if you want to purchase an extra DAW to work with the Raven, I think at the time of this video, it's about 99 bucks. So I have Pro Tools. I also have Logic Pro, and I'm going to go ahead probably and purchase the Logic Pro version of this so I can use the batch command and start getting used to some of the features. So hopefully it'll be ready for PreSonus Studio One very soon, and that's what I'm going to obviously use this on. So anyway, if you look at this card here, it'll tell you to go to slate.mt.com and then go to the download section and download some software. And then you have to follow some instructions to register your software, register your Raven with Slate, type in your passcode, and then it's going to get you ready to roll. So what I'm going to do is, to save time, because this will probably take a little bit of time to do, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go through the setup off camera, and then what I'll do is I'll come back and I'll kind of simulate what I did to kind of show you how to do it. It seems like it's a pretty simple thing. It's just registering the software, making sure that your iLock is registered, and which, by the way, you need to have an iLock to use this, which I have for other plugins and for Pro Tools, so that's not an issue. And I'm going to download the Raven manual as a PDF. They don't give you a hard copy manual, which is kind of a drag. It'd be kind of nice to be able to have it in hand while you're kind of setting up as opposed to looking to it on a screen. But again, not that big of a deal. You can always look at it on your iPad or on your laptop or on a secondary screen. Not a big deal. And that'll be it. So what I'll do is I will get this thing rolling, get it set up, and then take you through how that setup process was. And then we'll boot it up and we'll open up Logic, or maybe even open up PreSonus Studio One. Once the touchscreen is calibrated, I should be able to use Studio One with this, even though the Raven software isn't available yet and the batch commander is not available yet. But I should be able to still take the faders and move them and touch the screen and play around with it. So I really want to give you a feel for how does the touchscreen really respond. Because I've never used this before, obviously, there'll be several videos that I'll do down the road. But if I can at least get it up, get it calibrated, show you guys that, and then kind of just open up a DAW and play a little bit with some faders to kind of give you my first impressions on how it feels to use it, that would be an accomplishment for this video. So anyway, we will come back in a few minutes and I will take you through the process of setting up your Raven MTI. Okay, so I've gone ahead and I've downloaded the Raven software. I've activated my iLock per the instructions on their website, which is right on the index card that they give you. It's a really simple process. It took about 5 minutes to do. Now I've downloaded the PDF manual as well, which you can probably see behind me right on my the screen beyond my right shoulder there, where it talks about how to calibrate and how to first, boot up and start your system. So one of the first things it asks you to do is to clean the screen or revitalize the screen using the supplied spray that they give you. And this will allow it to have a kind of a real slick surface. I guess over time, what will happen is the oils from your fingers will get onto the screen and things may feel a little bit of friction. And when you're moving faders and working around the edit screen, it can kind of feel kind of janky. So this spray will clean up, get all the oils off, and as well as give you a nice slick surface. So To do that, all you basically do is you just take the spray, you spray about 6 sprays onto the screen. You don't want to oversaturate it. And then you take the supplied microfiber cloth that they give you, and you just kind of wipe down the screen. And they suggest in the manual to not wipe it off like you don't want to buff it out like you would say with like a Windex or some kind of a glass cleaner. And they highly recommend that you don't use any of those kind of cleaners on this screen, to only use this particular spray that they provide. And this is a pretty large bottle. I got to imagine this would last an awfully long time, even if you cleaned your screen every couple of days. So basically you're just going to spray it on. They say about 6 sprays, and then you're just going to take the microfiber cloth and just kind of wipe it on there lightly. It's got kind of a strong odor to it, so you want to definitely do it in a well-ventilated area. And again, you're not trying to buff it out. All you're trying to do is just kind of get a nice even coat. I'm not putting hardly any pressure at all on the microfiber cloth, just kind of wiping around. And they suggest you do this with the screen off, because if the screen is on, you know, you start touching the screen, you may open up things, so on and so forth. And when the screen is off, they say you may see like a little bit of a hazing on it, which they say is okay. That's kind of the film that's on the screen, excuse me. And when you turn the screen on, you really won't notice it. So now if I were to turn the screen back on, it takes a second here to boot up. And there it is. And if I move it, yeah, it's really nice and smooth and no friction at all. And without even calibrating, I haven't even gone through the calibration process yet. I can already see it's the cursor, you know, the touchscreen is obviously already working. If I wanted to open up, you know, just by touching the screen. So haven't even calibrated it yet. And it seems like it's pretty darn close. But I'm going to go through the calibration process as well. But I wanted to show you that. You know, just revitalizing the screen right out of the box. I don't feel any friction at all. It seems like it's really silk and smooth. And they say if you feel any kind of friction, you just go through the process again so you get a nice silky kind of a smooth kind of a feel with your finger on the glass. So the next step now is I'm going to read the manual, and I think the next step is to actually calibrate the screen. So I'll come back in a second and I'll show you how to do that. Okay, now we're going to calibrate the screen. So I followed the instructions again, really simple. When you first go to the Slate Raven website and you download the installer for the Raven software, you're also going to download the MTI software and the multi-touch platform software. So there's 3 kind of applications that you're going to install. And if you're using a Mac, which today these are only compatible with Mac. I don't believe they're compatible with PC yet. The first thing you're going to do is go into your applications folder, and you want to bring the multi-touch platform app, the Raven app, and the MTI app. You want to bring it out to your dock and save it in your dock, just so you can you know, easily find it later. So the first thing we want to do is we want to go ahead and we want to open up the multi-touch platform software and go through the calibration process. So let's do that now. Okay, so you can see my multi-touch platform software here down on the in the bottom of my right hand of the dock. I'm going to launch this. It's going to say, I get a message that says that your screen does not have the same resolution. It's because I'm using 2 screens. They are different resolutions, and that's fine. Just click OK. Now you just want to hit the calibration button, and it's going to ask you to press with a natural feel the X's in the different quadrants of the screen, and it'll tell you when to release your finger. And that's pretty much all you do. And so you want it in a very natural way. You don't want to arc your hand over. And again, this is all step by step in the manual. You don't want to have to arc your finger over. You want it to be a very natural touch to the screen. So 4 X's pop up on the screen, and it'll ask you to release your finger. You press release 4 times, and then it's done. And then you just hit OK. And that's pretty much how you calibrate the screen. It's that easy. And a well-calibrated screen, if you bring your cursor from your mouse out to the screen, your finger should cover the, when you move your finger around the screen, the cursor should go right directly underneath your fingertip. If it does, it was calibrated properly. If you put your finger on the screen and the cursor is off to the side of your fingertip, then it wasn't calibrated properly. So you could just test it just by moving your finger around with both hands, and if you can't see the cursor, it's right underneath your finger, then it's calibrated properly. And that's pretty much all there is to it. So the three pieces of software that you're going to be aware of are down here. You're going to have the Raven MTI software, you're going to have the multi-touch platform, and then when you launch the NiFi software, you're going to see it up top here in your upper toolbar there, and you have to make sure that that's launched. So all that is downloaded from the Slate website when you go to set up your Raven. So now what we'll do is I'll pause the video, I'll launch Logic Pro or maybe Studio One first and just kind of see how, open up a session, and we'll kind of play around with this and see how it kind of feels, and I'll give you my first reaction to how this feels. And then I have to figure out how to get the batch commander open. I don't know if that was part of the software, if I have to go back out to Slate's site and download it. But anyway, I'll get all that together and then I'll bring you back and we'll take a look at it from there. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do here before I launch Logic is I'm going to open up Studio One because I'm just kind of curious to see how that works. Now the touchscreen is working as we did. We calibrated it in the last section, and the cursor is perfectly under my finger the way it's supposed to be. And you can see the cursor kind of moving around the screen here as I'm screen capturing this. And I'm just touching this with my finger now. So I'm going to launch Studio One 3. And again, this is not made to be used with Studio One 3 yet. But you should be able to still use it out of the box because it is just a touch screen. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to see how this works. Just opening up. I'm going to go to and open up a session. Double click to double tap to double click. Let's just do styles of music. Let's go to acoustic. And okay, never opened this before. Let's just see. Okay, so here's PreSonus Studio One, obviously, and oh, I'm automatically going for the mouse. See that? So let's just see if we could just take this and just will some of these features just work? Yeah, like I can increase the mixer, take faders, right? You know, again, this is not supposed to work with Studio. You know, this is. The Raven software is not even launched here. Batch Commander's not, Studio One does not work with this as of the recording of this video. Just seeing if it will work and how it feels. I mean, very, very responsive. The glass feels really slick, really nice. And you see Steven on his website doing this kind of real under 5 millimeter or 5 millisecond response. And that's pretty darn accurate. Or it feels to be. So that's pretty slick right there. That's pretty nice. Being able to move tracks, that's pretty neat. I don't know if you can just do 2 fingers and swipe. I'm not sure because again, this is not, the Raven software is not launched, so I'm not sure what you can and can't do here as far as that goes. But I think if you were to put down hold, so it just moves the track. It doesn't allow you to highlight all the tracks like you're holding shift. Again, that might be part of the Raven software. But anyway, you can play this. Even though you can't hear anything, you can see the signal on the screen. There's the music in the background. Again, you're not hearing it over the screen. I'm just... The audio you're hearing is coming from my lapel mic. What's happening in Studio One is not being recorded. You're just hearing it in the background over my lapel mic. So if we wanted to solo this up, do panning left and right, obviously. Panning works well. Scrolling down with the scroll bar. So that works pretty well. I will say that works pretty well. And here's our edit screen. You can highlight events. You can stop. Again, pretty cool for software that's really not made to be used with this yet. Again, just kind of getting a feel for how responsive this is and how accurate it is. But yeah, you hit the buttons and it works quite well. Pretty straightforward. You can let's see if we wanted to just save. Let's save. Yep, it saves. Save as. Dialog boxes pop up. That's pretty cool. You can highlight. I don't want to start slicing and dicing things yet because don't want to move too many things, although you can just move an event. That works well. I will say it is pretty cool and it is pretty responsive, and it is pretty accurate. It doesn't feel overly, weird. Again, you think about it as like a big iPad, but it really is much more than that. And again, this is not made to be used with Studio One yet. So I think what I'm going to do is my first impressions are the screen size is that again, I said earlier, I was fearful that maybe the screen size would be a little bit too small. Coming from a 30-inch screen that I'm using doing most of my editing, going down to a 27-inch. But I will say, when you have it this close and have it on this kind of an angle and right in front of you like this, it's pretty impressive, and it doesn't feel small. It feels like everything is big enough and it looks big enough. And again, from an accuracy standpoint, as far as putting your finger on something and moving it, it does move quite nicely and it seems accurate. It seems like it is calibrated well. And just, picking up the small buttons like solo and mutes, you've used the tip of your finger and you're kind of accurate with the way you come down on this. It seems like it works pretty well. So that's pretty cool. So my first impressions are, looks good. The angle feels good, although you can adjust it. Again, over time, some people have asked, how does it feel to have your hands kind of up in this motion? Are you going to get tired? Are you going to get fatigued? Don't know. I've only used it for 30 seconds here, but I don't feel like that would be the case. I'll have to use it more and get to know. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pause the video again. I'm going to try to launch a Logic session and try to get the batch commander and get all that stuff together. And then we will come back and show you that and kind of see how maybe some of the features work. So that'll be the next step. But so far, pretty cool stuff. So we'll be back in a couple minutes. Okay, so we're back with the Raven here, and I've opened up a Logic Pro session, and you should be able to see it on your screen. I'm doing some screen capture as well. We're not going to really listen to any audio right this minute. I just want to, again, give you, because I've never really used this, I just want to, for this video, just kind of give you my first impressions again on how it kind of feels. After I use this for a few days, I'll come back and do some, full-on mixing, listening to audio, those kinds of things. But here's the Logic Pro X session. And when you download all your software from the Slate site, it obviously comes with Batch Commander. I wasn't sure if that was a separate install. It's not. It's all part of it. So when you launch your system, you have to make sure that you open up these three programs in a very specific way. You have open up with your NiFi software first, which will then come up at the top of your screen here, and you can see it up here. And then you will launch the Logic Pro session, or any DAW. If you're using Pro Tools, it would be Pro Tools, and then the Raven software. And that'll get you here. And now this is the Logic Pro session. If you want to open up the Raven mixer and the Raven batch commander, you just hit this little Raven symbol down the left-hand corner. And here is the Raven mixer. And if you want to hide the Raven mixer, again, I've only used this for a few seconds. You can just hide it by doing that. And here's your batch commander. Again, I haven't played with any of this yet. But if you want to hide that all together, you just click on Hide Raven down here in the bottom left-hand corner, and it'll just bring up the Logic session. So again, without using the Raven tools right now, just getting a feel for just using Logic itself. Again, you can grab a fader, you can move it. It seems really responsive. The glass seems very smooth, which is kind of cool. You can, do things like highlight, hold, and then swipe to select a bunch of tracks, which is really cool. Opening up the plugins, which is what a lot of people are interested in. If you just tap on the plugin, oops. Oh, let's just see, what did I do here? Oh, sorry, my bad. There we go. So here was an EQ, and you can just take this and you can, grab and you can adjust, which is really kind of neat. being able to touch your audio and touch your plugins and manipulate them, that's the real power of the Raven itself, and the whole touchscreen technology is being able to put your hands on the plugins. You just close that by doing that. I'm gonna try to open up the, can't seem to get, oh, there we go. So we got the, here is the virtual mix rack, obviously. And again, you can, just grab it and just tweak the plugin. Very, very cool. And if you wanted to take and drag a plugin on here, you can do that. You can X that off. And again, I have to get used to the way I'm supposed to be touching this. You're supposed to be kind of turned face forward and, postured correctly, because that's why I calibrated the screen. So turning and talking to the camera is going to kind of throw off my touch a little bit here, and I have to get used to it, obviously. But again, you have a full transport. You can play the music back, obviously. The signals are there. You can see them on the meters. Again, it's pretty darn responsive. I'm pretty impressed with the way it works here. So double click, and there's a Logic compressor. And what's great about the Logic plugins is that you can view them in different sizes. So like you can go to 175%. You can really blow it up the whole screen. Now that's pretty cool that you can blow up the whole plugin and really get in there and tweak it really nice. That's pretty cool. And then you can close that. I can readjust the size back to 100%. And even that at 100%, really good. Again, resolution looks really good as well. I'm really impressed with the quality of the screen. And close that down like that. Let's see, we can open up, I'd like to try a universal audio plugin here. And here is Universal Audio Neve, the 33609 compressor. And again, these knobs are a little bit, even though they're smaller, they're not really, this plugin really wasn't, these plugins were for the UAD1, so they have a much smaller GUI, but you could still get in there. I don't think you can blow up the size. No, you can't. But you could still get in there, and you could still tweak it. I mean, you really can. You can get in there and you can tweak it. It's not too bad. Take a little getting used to, but not bad. Not bad at all. I'd like to try just for, oops. Oh, you hold your finger on there. Okay, and go down to my Universal Audio. Maybe open up one of my newer plugins with a much bigger GUI to just see what that looks like. Here's the UAD 670. There we go. And so that's one of the newer ones. So that's a much bigger GUI that was made for the UAD 2. So again, you can really get in there and tweak that really nice. So that works really well. And I guess plugin manufacturers are going to start, developing new plugins that a lot of them, I would guess, to really work with multi-touch. To have a nice big interface like this is really good, because you can get in there and you can really tweak things. But again, really responsive. I'm pretty impressed thus far. Again, I've only played with this for a few minutes. So what I'd like to do, what I'm probably going to do now, whoops, turn that off. Oh, see, I just got to get used to the way it touches here. There we go. Take the plugin off. So what I think I'll do now is I'm going to probably edit all this together and get a nice video up there for you guys, so you can at least see how we start off and how we boot it. But I'm going to play with this for a few days, get my bearings on it, get my bearings with Logic Pro X. I don't use it very often. I'm a Studio One user, so I have to not only get used to the DAW again, but then how Raven and the batch commander kind of works with it. And then I'll be posting some more videos in the future, but I just wanted to do the unboxing, do the setup, do the startup, show you kind of what it looks like, and give you my initial reaction to touching the screen and touching the plugins. How does it feel? And although it feels really good, it's going to take a little getting used to, like anything else, but I don't think it's going to be a big deal. I'm really happy again with the size of the screen. I even like, if you're not using the Raven mixer, that you can just take one of the Logic faders and move it, and it's pretty easy to move. It's not too small. When you get up here and you get the batch commander going, and then you want to launch the Raven mixer, again, you have much bigger faders here, so you can get up here and you can really tweak it and adjust the way you want, which is great. And I guess you can do multi-touch. Again, you can do up to 6, I think. Yeah, you can grab 3 at a time, 4 at a time. So that's really cool. I mean, it does work. the way they demonstrated. I mean, I don't feel it to be weird, and I've only been using it a few minutes. So hopefully this video was helpful. Hopefully when I edit it in the final product, it actually looks helpful. And this has been David with homerecordingmadeeasy.com. For more information about my website, everything, coaching, training, tutorials on home recording, go over to homerecordingmadeeasy.com. Or you can also head over to visionrecordingstudios.com and check out more of my services about mixing and mastering. And until next time, I'll be back again with the Raven to show you a little bit more in depth. This has been David Vignola with homerecordingmadeeasy.com. Thanks guys for watching, and take care.